Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web. And RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Michael Voris. Fired Catholic professor rehired. The University of Illinois says an instructor who recently lost his job over a complaint about his religious beliefs can continue teaching. However, the university says it will pay faculty members who teach Catholic-related courses rather than have them paid by a church group. The university said the St. John Catholic Newman Center will no longer pay adjunct professors like Kenneth Howell, who teaches Catholicism courses. Howell taught Introduction to Catholicism and Modern Catholic Thought. He says he was fired at the end of the spring semester after sending an email explaining Catholic beliefs on homosexual sex to his students. Planned Parenthood to the rescue. Carly Fiorina, the pro-life Senate candidate in California, is presenting pro-abortion Senator Barbara Boxer such a tough challenge that Planned Parenthood says it plans to raise and spend $1 million attempting to save the Senate seat of its closest ally. Quote, "I believe in the sanctity of life. I believe life begins at conception," Fiorina has said in a television interview. A poll last week from Survey USA was the first to show Fiorina leading Boxer. The tally was 47% to 45% in favor of Fiorina, and that's the first poll that shows her actually in the lead. The Knights of Columbus are two-faced. Pro-life Catholics in Washington, D.C. should picket the 2010 Knights of Columbus annual convention this August 3rd through the 5th over the group's refusal to expel pro-abortion politicians, so says Kenneth M. Fisher, founder and chairman of Concerned Roman Catholics of America. He said, quote, "Pro-life Catholics should make sure that every knight at the convention knows that the national leaders of the order have refused, in writing, to stop harboring pro-abortion politicians in the Knights," end quote. Fisher contends that while the national leadership refuses to expel pro-aborts, they have, in fact, expelled pro-lifers who draw attention to the problem. You can read much more on this by clicking on the link right over here. Stay with us, back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium. CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world. CatholicUnderground.com, the podcast about our Catholic faith and new media. And DFWCatholic.org, spreading the truth one city at a time.
Cardinal gets bashed by gays. Homosexuals in Chile are reacting angrily to recent comments by 83-year-old Cardinal Jorge Medina Estevez, who led the Congregation for Divine Worship and the Discipline of the Sacraments from 1996 to 2002. Responding to Argentina's recent legalization of so-called same-sex marriage, the Cardinal said that, quote, "The Church distinguishes the homosexual tendency and homosexual practice. If a person has a homosexual tendency, it is a defect, as if one lacked an eye, a hand, a foot. On the other hand, homosexual activity, he noted, is immoral. Quote, "In my life as a priest, I have had pastoral care of many people with this problem," he added. Some, like alcoholics, have overcome this tendency by discipline, education, or re-education, while others have heroically resisted this tendency for their entire lives. So-called same-sex marriage, he added, is something in opposition to the law of God, and no human law can go against the law of God. If a human law goes against the law of God, that human law does not exist." End quote. And lastly, Tireless Benedict. The second volume of Pope Benedict's 3-volume work on Jesus of Nazareth will be published in English by Ignatius Press early next year. The first volume of the Pope's work, published in 2009, covered the early public life of Jesus. The second volume, coming out soon, covers Christ's death and resurrection. Pope Benedict has been working on a third volume during his summer vacation this year. Ignatius Press, which publishes many of the works of Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger before his election to the papacy, will produce the work in cooperation with the Vatican publisher Libreria Editrici Vaticana, which now holds the worldwide title to the Pope's written work. I'm Michael Voris. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure and check out The Vortex today, where we talk about this weekend's CIA program entitled Weapons of Mass Destruction, a look at what happened to the Catholic Mass at and following Vatican II. That's it for now. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tell your friends about us. And as always, God bless you.